Hey, what's up, and welcome to live.besttechie.net, the place where we talk tech, answer your tech questions, and everything technology related. Today, I want to do a video on what you should know before you go out and buy a web hosting package from any web hosting company that provides these types of web hosting services. So I've compiled a list of tips and tricks on basically what you should know before you and what you should do before you consider buying any web hosting package out there. Now, the web hosting industry is completely oversaturated, and there are a number of just utterly horrendous web hosts out there who are willing to provide just terrible services and make you pay for them. Basically, they're ripping you off. So I've compiled this list of things you should know and things you should do before you actually consider buying these packages from a web host. First of all, never ever register a domain through your web host. Ever. Don't ever do it. The reason for this is because they're offering you a free domain or they're offering to register for you, they're not just doing it from the goodness of their heart, guys. What they're doing is they're hoping that you say, okay, let me register a domain with you guys, or since you're providing me a free one, I'll register my domain with your coupon or whatever the case may be. What they're setting you up for is to leverage you. So if you ever want to leave that web host, they're not going to give you your domain back, or they're going to give you a really hard time about it and basically make your life hell. So don't register a domain through a web host. Register it on your own using a service like a registrar service like GoDaddy, for example. Also, know the meaning of unlimited. Unlimited doesn't mean that I have unlimited bandwidth, unlimited storage, unlimited emails, unlimited MySQL databases, unlimited whatever, FTP accounts. It doesn't mean that. What they're saying is when they mean unlimited, they're saying, okay, so long as you don't use too much bandwidth, too much storage space, and you don't overload the server with your website, yeah, you can have as much space as you want. But as soon as you start using too much of their server resources, what they're going to do is this. They're going to send you an email saying, we recommend you upgrade to the next package, which is more money, by the way, and because it'll benefit your site. And then if you choose not to upgrade, you'll find your site disappeared. It'll just disappear off the web. They're not going to know where it went. They're going to have a hard time finding it. So make sure you understand the word unlimited. Don't buy into that hype. Also, when it comes to payments, try and pay via a debit card or a PayPal account, because what happens if you pay with a credit card? There have been too many stories where ex-customers have paid via credit card for web hosts, and these nasty web hosts, what they'll do is they'll keep charging your credit card, and the only way to really stop that is to get a new credit card. So make sure you pay with debit or PayPal. Also, read their fine print in terms of their refund policy and trial policies, so that way, for example, so that if you cancel your account before the trial is over, make sure you get your money back, and things like that. Make sure they'll provide a refund, and that they provide the full amount back and not just a portion. Also, this is important too. I mean, all of this stuff is important, so I'm going to keep going down the list here. Avoid web hosts with blacklisted IP addresses. This is bad. And also, along those same terms, read the web host policy and terms of use policy, and also spam policies. Just because their IPs aren't blacklisted now, if they allow people to send mass email or spam out there using their web host, their services, their servers, then you'll most likely find that their IPs will be blacklisted. And that's really bad for your website. You don't want to be on a blacklisted IP. Also, make sure that you yourself understand the basics of web hosting, what the terminology is, what everything means, and things like that. That way, when you call them up, and I recommend you do this, you can call or email. Call is usually better, but call up the web hosting company, ask them a couple test questions before you purchase their services, see if they know the answers, and if you feel comfortable with them running your server. And last but not least, make sure, last but not least, there's two things. Read other web hosting forums like Web Hosting Talk and Webmaster World. These are two websites where people provide real experiences that they've had with web hosts, and are willing to share their experiences, good or bad, so that way you can get both sides of the story and see what their experience was and that way you can make a better judgment call as if you want to go with that particular company or not. And lastly, very last thing, back up your data yourself. Don't just rely on the web host to back up your data, your website for you. Always have your own backup. I'm going to give you a quick story really fast. I was not able to back up what was this, 2004 or so. I had a web host. I was on a shared hosting plan. Now I have a dedicated box myself. But I was on a shared hosting plan with besttechie.net. And my host I couldn't log into the control panel, but my site was still running. So I was like, okay, no big deal. He's probably not doing anything wrong. And I was young. I was like 14 at the time. And I couldn't get into creating my own backup. All of a sudden, one day, my website is down. I couldn't contact the host. The host wouldn't answer. Long story short, my dad had to send a letter to the company where he had the servers, which was Liquid Web, and they were nice enough to give me all my data back, and I was able to retrieve everything from Best Techie and not lose anything. But had that not happened, I could have lost all of Best Techie because I didn't create my own backups. I just relied on my web host, and the backup that I had previous to that was way out of date because I couldn't log in to get a backup. So just keep that in mind. It happens to people. You have to realize that. Don't just say it's not going to happen to me. It's not going to happen to me. It could happen to you, and you should be aware of that. So always back up your data, as I said in the previous video I did the other day, but always back up your website too. So I hope this helps. This is a list of things you should know before you go out and purchase web hosting from a particular company. If you have any other questions, let me know. Email me besttechie@besttechie.net or join my forums. It's completely free, besttechie.net/forums. And feel free to stop by the chat room at live.besttechie.net. We're always talking some kind of technology related stuff. Even if we're not, we're generally fun people. So stop by, and I'll see you next time. And remember, take care of your computers.